calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all the sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So I personally didn't know that this week's episodes of The Bad Batch were going to be a double shot, so I was pleasantly surprised. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
Shocked, honestly.
Shocked.
I didn't realize there was 2 episodes.
Somehow I knew, and
Oh, thanks for sharing.
yeah. Hey, you know.
I'm sure everybody else knew.
Yeah, everyone.
It was just me that didn't realize it.
Just you, exactly.
So.
I gotta say, these 2 episodes were like exactly what I'd look for out of a show like this, and refreshing after a couple of the recent ones, you know.
Yeah, these ones were definitely like, are you still with us? But before we get to those, there are some other things going around. And mainly because with The Mandalorian set to come back, it's entering the conversation, and network TV.
Right. Yes. This is, I gotta say, this is something that I've been noticing a little bit lately. So The Mandalorian is going to air on ABC, Freeform, and FX. So it's going to be on, network TV there on February 24th at 8 p.m. So it's the premiere episode ever of The Mandalorian. And, you know, this calls back to what they did with Andor, some point there over the holidays. You know, they aired like the first 2 episodes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, okay, that's cool. You know, it's a neat way to try and get some more subscribers to Disney Plus and stuff. And after seeing this, it's like, wow, you're going to go all the way back to the premiere episode of The Mandalorian right before season 3 starts. It's like, wow, you're really trying to like snag some subscribers here. So I'm kind of thinking, just had me thinking, is Disney Plus in trouble or what's going on?
Oh, I think Disney Plus is absolutely in trouble.
Right.
Because, I mean, it was just at the end of the year last year. They were talking about how much money it lost.
Right. Which, you know, I could see it being like that for a while, you know, with as much as Disney puts into the productions and stuff, you know, and they're it's all in-house content that's on Disney Plus. So they have to put a lot of money out there in order to make this work. You know, it's not like they're licensing shows and movies from other companies too, you know, but it just made me think just until I ran across this other article that, you know, Walt Disney Company reports first fiscal quarter of 23 financial results. It's like, okay, see what they say. You know, a lot of stuff, you know, it's like, you know, revenue is expected, blah, 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 7% higher, you know, 8.7 billion here, 20, okay. Disney Plus lost 2.4 million subscribers in the last 3 months of 2022.
Whoa. Now, hold on.
Yeah.
So they aired 1 episode of Andor to try and get subscribers. They have a net loss after that of...
Well, no, it wasn't after that.
You know what I mean.
Okay. Right.
They had to have been after that, wouldn't it?
No, I don't... When was it? Was it Thanksgiving or Christmas time? It was sometime in there.
Was it that late?
I'm not sure which it was.
I thought Andor was still running when they did that.
I don't recall, to be perfectly honest. I just know that they did that. And it, you know, that's why I took note when they said they're going to run the first episode of The Mandalorian, because it was like, oh, wow, doing this again, huh?
Right.
But
Okay, yeah, it was November 23rd.
Okay. Yeah, so Thanksgiving time. So, yeah. Apparently they were well aware at that point that, hey, things are dropping off. So yeah, I don't. I just thought it was kind of odd. This other article here does go on to say that Disney will cut around 7,000 jobs across the company, amounting to 3% of the company's workforce.
3%.
3%. So, it just seems to be like, par for the course these days. A lot of that stuff going on with tech companies and.
Well, I'll say this. This is going to be an unpopular opinion of kind of like how this is going down right now.
Ooh, we love those.
Oh yeah. And it's going to get away from like a little away from what we're talking about. But I mean, I think a lot of that is all those work from home jobs that people are refusing to come back from.
Uh-huh.
I think they're cutting those jobs.
Right.
And very shortly you're going to see postings for in-office jobs.
Probably. Yeah. I feel the same way. In fact, we had a story not too long ago where Bob Iger was like, hey, you got to be here like 4 days a week or something, right?
I think the other thing some of these companies are starting to realize too is like, look, we got these jobs where, we got like slides and, video game sections and nap sections and like, wait, we got a workforce so big that people got time to take naps, go down slides.
Yeah, that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah,
I was wondering who will be of these 7,000 jobs, right? I mean, hey Favreau, you're gonna have to get your own coffee now. I don't know how. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I don't think that'll be it at all.
No, probably not.
It's going to be like, it's like a lot of companies, right? Like, it's going to be like one of the, a grouping of like one of each of these groups of like 7 or 8 people that do the same job.
Yes.
Like one of them's going, and it's just that all through the company.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
But they're so big.
That's the thing. When you're talking 7,000 jobs and
it's
that
3%.
amounts to 3%, you're talking that's over 200,000 employees.
Like the big 3 are like, that's a layoff.
Exactly. I know. Yes.
Yeah, I don't. Back to Star Wars.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's obvious they're in trouble. The subscriber loss, the money loss that we saw at the end of last year. They're adding ads. They're branching these shows out to networks, stuff like that.
Right. I mean, they just did the whole Bob and Bob thing. Bob is out. Bob is in. That Chapek and Iger.
Right.
So, they're definitely trying to make moves to get things on the right track again. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, this is obviously much more dire than our assessment last time when we were talking about it. Was like, oh, this is because the film portions of it's not happening.
Right.
So for all the content going out, you're not having releases in theaters that would be making a bunch of money and covering this kind of stuff.
Right.
I find it astounding though that Netflix was able to pull this off for much longer before they were like, whoa, we need to dial this back a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Not quite sure how they've done that. I mean,
I think Netflix, one, being at a higher pricing point,
right,
on top of having been around longer prior to attempting to do that.
They definitely had first mover advantage on all this.
Right. Because, I mean, we're looking at these price tags on like a single episode of some of these shows, and it's like, how are you getting that back?
Oh, yeah. I know. They're spending $500,000 to $1 million an episode. Yeah.
It's like, man, I just spent $40 to make all these cakes, but we're gonna sell them to you for $2.95.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? You mean a piece of that cake, right? No, the whole cake.
Right.
That sounds dumb.
I think part of this was though, when they launched Disney Plus, their stated goal was to go after Netflix. So I think they were trying to achieve that however they could, and
and on top of that, they even said they didn't intend to make any money off of it for the first year or so.
Right.
And they were like, okay, yeah, we're not going to make any money. Like, dude, we're not even close to breaking even.
Right.
We're counting those losses in that word with a B in it.
Yes, that word with a B. Let's see.
Like, there was obviously someone sitting at the table like, does this sound stupid to anyone else?
Yeah, but sitting around that table, there is nobody. When Iger asked that question, does this sound, a good idea? Everyone's like, yes, sir. Yes, Bob. Yes, it is. Good idea.
Yep.
That's all that happens there, I'm sure. Bunch of people nodding their heads. Excellent, sir. I don't know.
And that's why they're eliminating 7,000 jobs.
Exactly.
No, that's not why.
No?
No, that was me being facetious. It's 2023, man. You can't say dumb shit anymore.
But,
so
yeah, interesting.
All right.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go away. I'll just say that.
I don't think it'll go away.
Right.
I just think what you're going to see is them scale it way back. Like, you just can't. You can't run, and that's the other thing. Disney is just such a large monster, right? Like, they're not just spending this kind of money on Star Wars content.
Right.
They're doing it with Marvel. I mean, look at that. Look at the actors they're having in like TV shows.
Sure.
These are the actors that portray those characters on the big screen. They would never do TV shows before.
Right.
But they're doing it now because they're paying big money to make these TV shows.
It's a good point. Yeah.
So,
you're talking stuff like Loki and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. We'll see.
So, all right. So we talked a while back about some old Star Wars action figures, original action figures, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. These are like the
original Kenner.
Right. First run, 3 3/4 inch. Yeah. On cards. Like
found in a warehouse.
Mint condition. Yes. Found in a warehouse. So these things, we're just doing a follow up on that story because these things actually went on sale at Morphe Auctions and they raised 622,000 pounds. That's an average of almost 1,400 pounds a piece. So if you heard that story from the first time, yeah, you'd have had to be like breaking open the piggy bank in order to get a hold of one of these things.
So just to put that into a U.S. dollar amount for the majority of our listeners, that's $751,000 U.S. dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
For some toys.
For some toys. Exactly. Exactly.
And you said what, 14,000 a piece?
1,400.
Oh, 1,400.
Yeah, pounds.
That math didn't make any sense. So that's 1,690.
Almost $1,700 a piece.
So almost $1,700 a piece.
Awesome.
It's a good haul.
Yeah, it's a good haul. You think Steve Sansey was there with his checkbook? Like, I'll take that one and that one. I'm sure he's got all these already, but
I was going to say, I'm sure he already had these carded.
True.
If there were any there that he didn't have carded, for sure.
Right. Exactly. Let's see. It says of these 450 action figures, it says included 5 of the rare Luke Skywalker figures with a double telescopic lightsaber. This Jedi weapon was quickly replaced with a single telescopic piece of plastic by from Kenner because it was too complicated. So, like the early ones. So this was like some of the early ones. At least those 5 of them. Which I would assume that would mean that some of the other ones were like early in the run as well. But
So did these sell as a lot, or
they didn't really say.
because if they sold as a lot, this isn't over.
Oh, no, because they're going to be like hitting the market after this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, if this is it selling as a lot. This is
Okay, hold on. Let's see. One of them alone sold for 34,680 pounds. In the auction in Pennsylvania, USA. That's weird because they probably sold it for dollars. There were eight Boba Fett figures, one of which sold for 10,898 pounds. A box of 24 unopened Yodas sold for 18,360 pounds. So apparently they sold it in pieces, but not necessarily.
not necessarily all pieces. Some of them sold in lots.
In lots, but not the whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because the ones that go in lots, that's wholesale right there.
That's yeah, exactly.
That's wholesale right there, and those are going to be out there for a different
right
final price.
You're going to have these 24 unopened Yodas getting opened and sold, just because you want the Yoda with little tiny plastic orange snake, and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm like, the problem is like from here, tracing any of that is over.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's over. So, yeah,
definitely interesting though. It's still amazing, what these kind of toys can bring in.
Well, I mean, this is going to continue to go up as the years go by.
Oh, sure, totally.
Well, as long as Star Wars can stay relevant.
Of course it's going to stay relevant. What are you talking about?
I just said that as like one of those things you got to say.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Star who? What? No, I don't think so.
I mean, it's part of the major Star franchises.
That is correct. Number one of the four, yes.
Yep. Oh. Well, guess good for them. Great luck.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, you're not going to find that probably ever again.
No, it's unlikely.
Unlikely that there's another just box of these in a warehouse somewhere.
If this starts happening, the whole collector scene is going to like implode. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I hope it keeps happening because then maybe I could get one. But
yeah, not likely.
Not likely. Not just not likely, borderline impossible.
Right.
Like, I'm surprised this one happened.
Yeah, I know.
That's just wild that this box is just sitting there like no one walked by it.
I know. Well, they said it was in a cupboard of some sort. Okay.
A cupboard.
No one's opened that in 40 years?
Yeah. It just sounds like crappy business.
Exactly.
Like, what's in there? I don't know. What kind of answer is that?
That is funny. For you, I'm looking at this picture they have, and here they have 8 carded mint stormtroopers. Bet Joe would love to have one of those.
I would love to have one of those. I'd absolutely love to have one of those carded mint stormtroopers, like for real. Like,
yeah.
That's my favorite collector piece is troopers.
Right.
Yeah. I'd love to get my hands on one of those, but guess what?
Yeah.
I have limits.
Hey, here's the question though. If you got one of those, would you open it?
Oh man, that one? No.
Yeah.
No.
That's the one you leave on the card. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just had a discussion about this like last week with another friend that's a collector, and he still berates me all the time because like I tell him something I got, and he's like, "Okay, you left that one in a box, right?" It's like, I didn't. It's like I took it out; it's on the shelf.
Right.
He berates me, man.
Well, what's he do with this? Are they all like hidden away
in the box?
In the box, like
hidden away somewhere so they don't get messed up. I'm like, what the hell's the point of that?
Exactly. It reminds me of
resell them someday. Like that's the idea, right? Someday I'm going to resell them. It's like, no, if they're going to be valuable someday, your grandkids are going to resell them.
Exactly.
You're going to be dead.
It's yeah. It reminds me of the guys who get the old cars restored and then they sit in the garage. No, you got to drive those.
I told him, like, you realize there's too many of you guys these days for those to be worth anything like those ones are.
Exactly.
Because there's too many of you guys doing this. These are valuable because no one did that.
Right. The people who lucked out in that were the people who got stuff like that and something got misplaced or
right. They hid it for Christmas for their kids and forgot where they hid it.
And they found it 20 years later. Exactly. Yes. That's where the people lucked out. It's not because they had some sort of foresight into, oh my God, this is going to be worth so much money,
No one knew that was going to be like that.
Are you kidding me? My Star Wars figures were all like in the sandbox, Han Solo was getting frozen in the freezer in water, It's like, you got to imitate, the frozen carbonite thing. Just left outside, lost. I just
chewed up by the dog.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah. No one did what collectors do now.
Right.
Back then. Like, cause even look at baseball cards. Even look at baseball cards. At the time in 1977, baseball card collecting was not handled with the care that it is now.
Yeah. It's funny you say it. It had a resurgence type thing in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was all these releases and,
it's what saved collecting like that in general was that whole resurgence and the specialty cards now, like
right.
In modern trading cards, like sports trading cards, you get zero value out of just the standard print going to be in a package. Like a lot of the old cards, like your Mickey Mantles and stuff like that are super valuable nowadays. Those cards weren't that limited when they were printed, not like they are now.
Right.
Like to have a card of value now, you get that you open that card and it's like 1 of 85.
Yeah.
That card has value now. It's going to have value later.
Right.
The ones you open that are just the standard cards are probably never going to have value.
Yeah, totally.
So, yep, there's just too many collectors now for those. And like the Black Series, they say they limit it, but it's only so limited.
Right.
I've gotten most of them. They're not that limited.
The thing is like everybody who's got these figures now is a collector. So they're all saving them like your buddy. And
oh yeah, and especially those figures.
Yeah.
No one's buying a Black Series figure for their kid to play with.
Right.
Like $20 for one figure.
Yeah. Good luck.
No one likes their kids that much.
It's true. I kid.
Man, we're just rolling into like, you shouldn't say that today.
I know, but it's funny because I spend so much more than that on my kids, but
but not on an action figure to throw over the garage.
This is true. I'm thinking of like, tires on the car and stuff like that.
Right. That's how Boba Fett's jetpack activated, dude. You threw it over something. Like,
right. That's true. Yes, exactly.
You didn't sit like. I love seeing the commercials where you got a kid. He's just like floating it around, like. Right. No one did that.
No.
You threw that bitch.
You grabbed your slingshot.
It's too slow if you go like that. If you throw it, it's much faster.
Exactly.
It's more real.
Yes, 622,000 pounds worth.
All right. So the Bad Batch.
Yeah, the Bad Batch is back.
It's back.
It didn't go anywhere, but now it's back.
Right. Now, while I was a little more on board with Tribe, right, I thought that was a much better episode. You got back to the core group.
It was good, yes. I mean, really, I guess what I'm referring to is their Indiana Jones episode or whatever. You know, that one left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. You know,
It's one way of putting it.
yeah. So, so, you know, and then Try was better, but then this was where it was. Man, this was Bad Batch. This was Clone Wars. This was all of it rolled together. This was prequels. All of it rolled together for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is those episodes too, though, that I'll tell you what, you know, we talk about all the time, like, these are a kid's show, right? A kid's show.
Right.
These two episodes, like, if you're a kid, you didn't follow much.
You didn't follow him, you say?
You didn't follow as much, you know, like,
Yeah, true.
there was a lot of little intricacies going on.
I will say,
A lot of nuance type stuff, right? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, no taxation without representation, that sort of thing. But
right.
which, you know,
Kids are like, what the hell are they talking about?
that I get what you're saying. Yet I also believe that, you know, kids pick up on more than we give them credit
Oh,
for.
I know.
So, yeah, I like this one a lot because it, like I said, it had the Clone Wars vibes. It had, you know, we're knee deep in the Bad Batch. You know, it took me back to Palpatine's prequel era conniving. You know, I loved it, all of it as a whole. Both episodes, awesome. I love the Senate argument. You know, arguing back and forth about, you know, whether or not to start the recruitment of the people to fight for the people, you know, and it's you know, and the thing that's the argument being made is now that what is it? Topeka City's gone. You know, the cloning facilities on Camino are gone. They have to do something. So it's interesting. It's like one of those things where the government, right, the empire, creates a problem, and now that same empire has the solution for it.
Yeah, it was nice to see Palpatine hatch a plan and, like, outmaneuver everybody, and he's not a marionette. Like, it was really great.
It was, yes. And the beauty part is, you know, all of that's going on. That's overarching over these couple episodes, but it's all nuanced too, where, you know, Chuchi's trying to fight for the rights of the clones. You know, the clones have no representation in this Senate, you know, and it's like, that's awesome, you know, because she's like, they have put their lives on the line to protect us. You know, we need to do something for them. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are real world parallels there, right? But so it's something that a lot of people can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, on the other hand, you have the military guy, you know, the misappropriation of funds, and you know, we got new systems that we're trying to put into place, and you know, not too concerned with, you know, all the troopers that are on their way out, you know.
Not too concerned is definitely a light way of putting it.
Yeah, true. Or you could say he just doesn't give a damn. So
That's there you go. Nailed it.
right. I even liked where, you know, Chi-Chi's trying to talk to the clones, face to face, and trying to help them out, and just like, what do you guys need? And they're like, we need to be out there fighting these insurgents and this and that. She's like, okay, but what happens when you guys are too old to fight? And it's almost like that never. He even says it. That the one clone even says it. That has never occurred to us because
they're not programmed to think that way.
We weren't programmed to think that way. It's like, wow. That ability to be self-aware that you are programmed, and that's just not.
I'd also like to point out that you weren't programmed to complain about orders. If they tell you to just go over there and die, you should just do it.
Exactly. That's pretty much
so. Like, obviously, you're going against your programming a little bit already.
Right. That is true.
Not to be so blunt about it. Before we get too carried away.
Oh, I was getting there.
Huh?
I was getting there.
I know. We should mention that we are talking about season 2, episode 7, The Clone Conspiracy, and episode 8, Truth and Consequences.
Right. And I think we can just kind of mash these together for our purposes tonight, right?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. I mean, these flowed seamlessly. Like,
yes,
these 2 episodes, it made sense they released them together because they just go together. And if you would have ended episode 7, you'd have been like, what?
Yep, exactly.
So continue.
Okay.
I just wanted to put that out there before we got too carried away.
So, tell me you didn't think that this sniper was Crosshair. I thought it was Crosshair.
I didn't.
Really?
Correction. I did until they put him on screen and had his voice masked.
Well, yeah. So
once they did that, I was like, well, they wouldn't do that with Crosshair.
Exactly.
Now, when he was just up in the tower and doing all that,
that's what I'm
totally
talking
thought
about.
It was Crosshair.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, as soon as he showed up in that hologram with Rampart, I'm like, who's this assassin dude? He's got his own assassin. That's interesting.
Yeah, they're covering up that it's a clone with the voice masking and all that stuff.
Right.
Like, yeah, they'd have never voice masked Crosshair.
Right. But yes, the first shots that were taken at, what was that clone's name? There's what, Slip, right? Slip? And, I forget the other one.
Oh, what was the other one's name?
Dead Clone.
Yeah.
So.
Dead Clone number 1.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely thought it was Crosshair taking him out. So
that is terrible considering we're like, this is like,
I know, clone
2
rights.
of the episodes that are supposed to make us start feeling for the clones again, and we're like, yeah, Dead Clone number 1.
There's just so many of them.
We're dicks.
Yes. But yeah, that was, trying to go in a kind of a linear fashion here. It's funny because throughout this thing, you're thinking, okay, Rampart's trying to play this game, this manipulation game, and he's got this assassin who's taking out the clones who are starting to think twice about the orders they were given and this and that, and it's amazing. It comes down to the guy playing the game's getting played all along. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm like heading into the second episode here a little bit. So we start off seeing Omega meditating.
Oh, Cade was the first clone.
Cade. Okay. That's right. I knew it was a C. It started with a C something. So Omega's meditating, and there's all kinds of speculation that she's got some sort of force abilities. Do you think this is going to end up coming out eventually?
Nope.
Okay.
I think this killed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it works. It doesn't work the same way for me. Well, he's a Jedi.
Okay. True. She just keeps trying all this stuff that is Jedi-like, right? I mean, little weird, but and they keep kind of.
She
putting
tried
that
being
out
a senator in this episode. Does this mean she's going to be a senator?
Hey, you never know. I mean, she was also the bodyguard for the senator. I mean,
right. She had an Anakin poncho too. Did you like that?
It was nice. Yeah. That was cool.
I was like, huh. So if you walk with a senator, you get a poncho.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the easy way to, redress the models in this animation. So
Fair.
yeah. So it becomes clear throughout the episode that through conversations with Rampart and Masamita that, this is, Rampart's pushing for what the Emperor wants here, and it's up to Rampart to kind of handle it, right? Get this pushed through the Senate and get the bill passed. So again, no matter how this plays out, the Emperor he's going to come out ahead. Because if Rampart succeeds, cool. Rampart succeeded, fine. But he has no problem getting rid of Rampart in order to make this happen.
I think it's even further than that.
Okay.
I kind of want to know, what did Rampart do to make himself a disposable lackey? Because I don't feel like that was designed to go either way. I feel like this went exactly as designed.
Well, I think that's just it about the Emperor. I think anybody is a disposable lackey. If this would have been Tarkin in Rampart's shoes, I think he'd have done the same thing to Tarkin.
Really? You think so?
I think maybe, yeah. I think Tarkin just never got on the Emperor's bad side.
I almost kind of wonder if you can be, like, overly ambitious and, like,
well,
that was Rampart's problem here.
I mean, for all the way from season 1, we saw Rampart was overly ambitious. I mean, it was pretty clear when he was talking with Tarkin in season 1, if you can remember all the way back to that.
Yes.
But, I don't know. These episodes, both of them, they had, like, all of the stuff, right? You had the secret mission to get onto Rampart's ship and get the information. You're on a time crunch to get it back to the Senate. Chuchi talks with Hallie Bortoni, right? The Kaminoan, the quote-unquote disgraced ex-senator. Gets her to testify about this misappropriated money. It's all of it coming together was just so perfect, and it's the way good TV is done, because it all comes together, all comes at the right time, where a couple of the prior episodes, things were starting to feel a little forced to me. You know what I mean? So I'm just thrilled to see an episode like this. This is, or a couple episodes like this. Yeah, I just, and the other thing that these do is leave us with some stuff to ponder for the future here. Like, Crosshair has been reporting directly to Rampart. What now? How is Crosshair going to fit into all this? How's he going to feel about training the conscripts, or do they feel like, well, we don't need Crosshair anymore because the clones are done? Is this where Crosshair actually finally gets it?
I don't know if it's fair to say, like, where he actually gets it, because I think he's getting it.
Yeah, well,
he's just resilient to it because his programming tells him to be.
Well, he said he doesn't have a chip. Remember?
Right.
Yeah.
But his demeanor with the one interaction, like, yeah.
I know what you're saying, but yeah, because we've speculated that maybe he was lying, right? But I just wonder, is Tarkin going to be taking over? Okay, Tarkin, Rampart's gone. You got a little extra responsibility here now too. Whatever. Or maybe Crosshair gets promoted in this. I don't know. But I think this is going to mean a change for Crosshair.
Oh, without a doubt.
Some form or fashion. We're left to speculate. And who knows? I just, it's clear that something's going to be different. Not not really sad to see Rampart go because, he was, how would you put it, Joe?
How did I put it before?
No, how would you put it? Rampart is he's a mean guy.
He's a mean guy.
Usually you have a little more colorful language for that.
Yeah, I've used a lot today.
I know. So
I was like, I'm not falling for it.
Right. I was trying to tee that up for you.
I try to keep it okay, and today I've already used my quota.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, my first one's always just actually slip. You can't actually like force me into it.
Yeah,
if I'm conscious of it, I'm not going to do it.
I know.
The other one's just slip.
Oh, that's funny.
It wasn't like, man, I've been swearing a lot this episode. Yeah. Like, everybody could go back and listen.
Right.
You'll notice, like, when I notice I reach my quota, I say stuff like mean guy going forward.
Right. So the other thing leaving us hanging here is Echo's going with Rex, and it's funny how all that like those decisions were made and everything, and Omega didn't know anything about it. But I got a feeling this is just the first domino to fall for Omega as far as the team goes. I think things are going to start happening now where one way or another, something happens to these guys, I don't know.
Well, you think one could die?
I'm not sure about that, or I'm just not sure, because I have a feeling that what we're seeing is the beginning of, something hard for Omega to take in all this. You know what I'm saying? She's having a rough time. You saw her like get up into her little cabin area in the ship, and she had that doll, and she's like all bummed out at the end there. This is going to be part of, any kid growing up kind of thing. It's like people in your life, they go off and do other things, and
right.
It's
not only that though, but like it's going to come to the realization, like, kid, you are growing up in what is essentially a war.
Yes, exactly.
And you are joining this group that is putting you in the thick of it.
Right.
It's so that could be the other thing is, does Omega just grow into something that can handle this? Because it's war.
Right. So I guess that's kind of where I'm going with this is, this might be the start of us seeing, we've seen Hunter. We could tell, right, that he's had these thoughts. He even said it in the last episode. They don't get to be kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is this the very beginnings of, maybe the rest of the batch trying to figure out, okay, we're going to find ourselves a nice little planet somewhere over by the ocean side where we can chill out, go fishing, and just make a life for ourselves and not put ourselves in the middle of all the, danger going on. I'm sure they're going to have plenty of adventure before that happens, but I just see the beginnings of that to where they're like, look, okay, cool. This whole, Empire sucks, but we're just done, and off we go. Maybe someone like Wrecker's like, nope, still got to go break stuff. Maybe Tech is like, well, you know what? I'm gonna go work on some science project with whoever. I don't know, but I just have a feeling that's where we're ultimately headed with this group.
Could be.
I mean, if not, where'd they end up?
I don't know. See, I don't know, because we had this discussion once before with Omega. Like, is this like the start of that transformation for Omega? And that was like watching Camino get destroyed,
Right.
And then it was again like being brought into the fight, like got the bow, got the like I feel like we've had this. I don't know that we're going there.
I think
I
ultimately,
think it's just going to be a lingering thing that, for people to think about.
well, if they don't end up going there with these characters, I think the other option is not so good. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we need you to go to this, do this job on the outer rim, and all of a sudden, boom, they're just never heard from again. Who knows? It's like,
I think this is going to be a series, and I hate saying this, but there's not going to be any closure here.
you don't think so?
Nope.
If that were to be the case, I'm not so sure that they would do this at the end of this episode with Echo. I mean, I think they have some sort of bigger story to tell here with that.
I don't know if I could say that, because it's good for the moment.
I mean, we talked about them being the A team in the Star Wars galaxy, right? Then just do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think they're going for they're frying some bigger fish here. I feel like it. I mean, maybe Echo and Rex are gonna meet back up with them by the end of the season. I don't know, but they've got to be setting up for at least some sort of a bigger story. I think there's going to be some overarching something going on where I think they're going to have to conclude this somehow, some way.
Oh, I think though. Well, yeah, I think if they have some conclusion to it, it's not going to be good.
Exactly.
Hate to be like that, but I just feel like that's the way it's headed.
Yeah, totally. But I got to give them credit, because when all that went down, Echo's taking off with Rex, and these guys are all saying goodbye, and it's like, wow, they can actually make you feel something with all that going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is animation. That's awesome. So,
well, I mean, two preceding shows to this damn near brought me to tears a couple times. So,
right, that's true.
So, I don't rule that out in this show.
Right.
I pulled it off in Clone Wars, and I'm like, okay, I can't believe that happened.
Right.
And then they did Rebels, and I'm like, oh god, they one up themselves. Oh, they ramped it up.
Yep. So true. Yeah.
Dude, that Kanan scene is still one of the most.
Oh, it's totally.
I watch it now. I'm like, man, this is deep.
Yep. It'd be great if we could see the Bad Batch, keep rolling all the way through until, they're like the age of Rex when we see him in Rebels. Got these old geezers and this young woman flying around on adventures. That'd be interesting.
It's possible.
Yeah. But
you think Wrecker will end up like Gregor?
Oh, crazy? Heck yeah. I mean,
there's a lot of brain trauma.
Yeah, right. I did love that they called back to his fear of heights again.
Oh yeah,
because there's been times I was wondering, it's like, where'd that fear of heights go? And it's like, oh, here we are. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great too, because I mean, they even had an episode where it was talking about Wrecker's fucking head trauma.
Right.
Darn it.
Yeah, I don't know. These episodes were hitting on all cylinders. They
were fantastic.
Loved the ultimate manipulation by Palpatine. That was classic. It reminds, man, I could almost hear, from episode 3, the restructuring into the first galactic empire kind of thing. It's like he's doing that again. He's just doing that again. Oh my God. And it shows how his ultimate goal wasn't necessarily just to get the galaxy under his rule as an empire. It's like he wasn't done then. He's continuing on. And from this point, we know of another point down the road where, he's eliminated the Senate, The Senate's not going to be a problem anymore because the Empire has eliminated the Senate. Every step of the way, it's all by Palpatine's design.
Mm-hmm.
It's just goes deep with that character, deeper than you might have realized in the first place. It's like, which is awesome.
I mean, it's just it's nice to. I guess where I'm going with that is it's nice to see them actually catch us with that again.
Yes,
because one, it almost became kind of predictable.
Right.
I mean, even in episode 3, like I love episode 3.
Yep.
But there was just so much of it, right? Like even in the beginning, Count Dooku, and they're like, well, you're no match for him. He's a Sith Lord. Like the delivery was even like it's at the time. It's like, okay, do we know you're playing him?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Then he's like cheering as they're starting to. So like by the time you get to the part where Anakin cuts his head off, when he's like, do it, you're not even surprised.
Right.
So
yeah.
But in this one, he's hands off, and then I like they have an alarm.
Yeah. It's like, okay, everyone shut up. Emperor's coming. Yeah. And
to have that guy at this point, like, the loss of life was devastating. It's
yeah.
What?
Yeah. Tugging on the heartstrings, right, of the senators. And
this is coming from Mr. Execute Order 66. Like,
yeah. But he's still, like, putting it out there, making the senators think, okay, we have to vote for this bill now. Our leader thinks it's the right thing. It's because of this horrible tragedy that happened. That admiral, he was the bad guy. And it's just manipulation of the highest degree. It was, man.
Right.
And I gotta say, Ian McDiarmid's performance, beautiful.
Never lacks.
Right.
Never lacks. Well, if you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, @thewarsandmore on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think we about covered it.
All right. We will talk next week.